That brings up many questions, but one
Yep.
that floated up to the top was, so basically we have to be responsible for, not necessarily managing our 401k, but we were responsible for reviewing that 401k. I don't know how regularly we should, but what are some of the common mistakes you see, I guess, in the allocations of people's 401ks?
It's it starts the first mistake is most of the time people are guessing. In my Before I got into this industry, my first job I got a 401k and I asked, "Can you help me figure out what to invest in?" And the HR person said, "No, it's actually not legal for them to give you investment advice."
Hmm.
So they said,
Okay.
"No, you have to look at it and you have to make your own decision." And the reason why is because they don't want to be responsible in case
Right.
you have a loss. They don't want to be responsible for that. And so I looked at it and then I looked, one said growth. It was a growth mutual fund. I'm like, okay, what do I want my money to do? I want the money to grow. So I'm going to check growth mutual fund.
Mhm.
That was the extent of my research into it. That was that was how I made that decision.
Right. I mean, it
So
was smart. It was smart. It grows. I
Yeah,
want my
growth.
money to grow. Yeah, let's go
I'll
this
take
way.
I
that.
had some logic behind it, you know. But so that's kind of the first thing is that people make the investment without really knowing what it means.
Yep.
Now, what percentage of it was stocks? What percentage of it was bonds? I couldn't tell you. I just know it said grow and I wanted my money to grow. So I picked growth fund. But that's the first thing. The second thing is not really looking at it, not confronting it, meaning just looking at it. And a lot of times people will put their money into their 401k and never really look at it or understand it. We survey people on how many people actually understand their statements. The vast majority of people do not understand their investment statements. Even people with hundreds of thousands of dollars will have somebody send us a statement. They got $500,000 in there. They're like, I don't know what is actually invested in. Well, you would a lot of times people hear that and they think, wow, the person has 500,000, 750,000. They don't know what they're invested in. Yes. They've just been putting that money in there for the last 20, 30 years and they get their statement. And if it's up, the person's happy and they're like, okay, it's working. I don't need to change or do anything with it.
Right.
But it's really just looking at it so you have your own knowledge, responsibility, and control over it. Because ultimately, that as the investor, you're bear the full responsibility of that account.
Mm.
Because if the manager loses your money, there's not really any recourse you have on there because you willingly put your money into that fund. So you just end up losing the money. So by you looking at it and understanding it, trying to understand it is a good step. Some statements will have a glossary. One of the
Hmm.
biggest issues in the world of finances is they use words that people do not understand.
Hmm.
And I'm not just talking about the average person out there like the 401k investor. I'm talking about sometimes the financial advisors don't understand the words themselves.
Interesting.
There's a lot of industries where I've misunderstood words. Like you go to see the doctor. The moment his doctor starts speaking in all his lingo and you're like, break it down in plain English.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Right. Exactly.
So what happens is you get your statements, your 401k statement, and it's not often in plain English. So the moment you look at it, you see a word there that you misunderstand, and you're like, I don't really know what that. I don't even know what this thing is saying. And all of a sudden you're like, all right, whatever. I look at the number, it's more than it was last year, so that's fine. And
Right.
Mm.
and that's what happens.
Right.
So that can become a mistake. So one, not
Yeah.
first mistake's not really knowing what they're putting their money into when it started. Like I did. I didn't know. I just checked growth.
Right.
And
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Number two is not looking at it periodically. Periodically could be you could look at it quarterly, you could look at it, you don't have to look at it every single day, but
Mhm.
quarterly, I think the closer somebody gets to retirement, the more they want to keep their eye on it because a major drop could impact your lifestyle. And kind of the third, if you think about a sequence, the third thing is person gets a statement and they may not think about the glossary. Sometimes there's a glossary, sometimes they're not. But looking up any words on your statements you don't understand. It's a little bit of homework, but it actually gives you much more understanding on your investments.